go get them again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark, and on the docket today, we have an unboxing first impression video on the brand of Boucheron, and this one, Fève Tonka de Canaima. Now, obviously, from the name, I'm assuming I'm gonna have a tonka bean-based fragrance, and I was really intrigued. They released this with a leather-based one, which I do have. I just purchased it from Fragrance Net, so I can't wait to unbox that one, but hold my horses, I need to get the Fève out of the way. Now, this is from their higher end line, if you didn't know, from Boucheron, and it's just simply called La Collection. Now, you see what I owned in the past here, so they have a small dent, both of them, Oud de Carthage and Ambre d'Alexandrie. The Ambre one does really remind me of a fragrance, and again, if you're going to, I'm not saying clone, but be inspired by, why not be inspired by Homme Narguilé, by Hermes, Hermes Essence fame, Jean-Claude Helena. That fragrance has been inspired by many brands, but this one did it very, very well, in my personal opinion. And again, that is one of my favorites, if not, like, I would say, it's in my top 3 of gourmand fragrances. Nothing is going to replace Homme Narguilé, just to be clear, but it is an excellent release, and so is the Oud. So I blind bought both of these, taking a risk. I started with this one, and I was like, ooh, it's pretty good. And then I bought the Oud, pretty good. Now to the Tonka bean. I'm a huge sucker for Tonka bean based fragrances. Again, I do have a staple for my Tonka bean, and it is Tonka Imperial by Guerlain. I do have it over my head here. I have the old school bottle, and I bought just recently a backup bottle of that one. So I'm taking a risk blind buying this one. But it isn't much of a risk with my success rate recently. Personally, I think the Boucheron line, from what I've been smelling, overshadows many higher echelon big brand names, like let's say Hugo Boss. They do have a higher echelon line. It just never stuck. Hugo Boss, they didn't. Dolce & Gabbana with their Velvet line, even though some people talk about it here and there is some good ones in that line, it just never stuck. It's like Dior, Chanel, Hermes, those are, you know, staple higher end lines. Like Gucci's trying their foray in it. Yves Saint Laurent is doing actually quite well. They're getting a lot of love with their fragrances, especially with Baby Cat. So yeah, this, you know, this kind of is a line that is kind of underrated in our fragrance community. I know a lot of the female fragrance reviewers, shout outs to all of you, the ones that aren't paid, actually spotlight this line. So nice to see. But let's see how this Tonka is. Is it really good? Is it going to remind me of something like the Ambre one? Let's see. So Fève Tonka. And this was released in 2022 with the Cuir. The nose is Alexis Dadier. Dadier is an IFF nose. Many high-end fragrances like Emerald Musk from Herrera. Ambre Tigre is also penned by him from Givenchy. Givenchy's playing around with their higher-end line, talking about that. And some Miroir ones from Mugler, which again, kind of, wow, this thing is... really doesn't want to come out. So the nose itself is known for these designer brands higher end lines, so it's always good. How do these open again? I'm assuming this way. There you are. And the juice color, kind of like almost like a grayish, like brown gray kind of thing going on. Much darker than the Oud, but I think the Ambre has it beat with the beautiful syrupy brown color. And these bottles are beautiful. I know that there's the heavy caps. There is some clone brands that actually use these bottles. In the fragrance game, copyright infringement is nothing, apparently. You can steal the bottles, you can kind of make the names look, you can make the logos kind of look the same, and you can steal what the juice kind of looks like, or kind of smells like. And you got to be careful out there with these clone brands, right? They're not going through perhaps the right process to get it out to you, the consumer. like a brand like Boucheron, a brand like, of course, Chanel, Dior, Gucci. These are reliable brands. These are brands that will go through the process. They're not going to get sued because they didn't go through the right packaging. You know, like Aaron Terrence Hughes talks about, like he talks about a Chanel and he goes, "Oh, the packaging is correct." It's Chanel. What are you talking about? Do we really need you to talk about that? My grips with the fragrance community. Okay, Boucheron Fève Tonka. Let's see if this can even touch Tonka Imperial by Guerlain. Let's see. Oh, oh. That bitter almond. Oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, so the notes in here, bitter almond, violet. In the mid, we got patchouli, rose, and tonka bean. In the base, we have labdanum, sandalwood, and vanilla. It starts off, it's, oh, okay. So again, it's going, is it something new in the fragrance game already? You know, like how many seconds in here? 30 seconds in, I already know this is not a unique take to the tonka bean. So don't expect that. Maybe this is a brand that kind of gets inspired by. It really emphasizes the bitter almond, which is in the top note. Bitter almond is a part of tonka bean. Some people kind of like to separate it, that almond is something and tonka bean is another, but no, tonka bean can have a cherry-like hue, it can be almond-like, it can be powdery, it can be vanillic, it can be numerous things. So this is sweet. It has some powdery aspects as well. Now, powdery aspects, there's violet, not violet leaf. So there's a big difference from the violet leaf from, like, let's say a Fahrenheit versus violet. Violet comes out powdery, so it could be from the violet that I'm getting here. But also tonka bean can do that. There is some, it's very much gourmand. There is some ambery glow from the labdanum here. It's sweet, it's powdery, it's gourmand. It has a little bit of a spicy hue. Very vanillic. Bitter almond. It's dry. Slightly marzipan-like. So very smooth as a fragrance. It doesn't seem like it's going to blow the doors off of the room in regards to longevity and projection. It's kind of weak off this strip, but it is going to be my scent of the day today, and it's a warm day here in Canada. I think it's the very first warm day that I had that I'm like, I'm actually wearing shorts. I don't think you could see that, but yeah, I went outside and I'm like, shorts. Short season is upon us in Canada, which is very nice. I still have snow on the ground, just to be noted. Still have snow on the ground, but it's like plus 15 Celsius. Okay. Ooh, the atomizer. Look at this. It's kind of like whistling. Sure. However, laser. Good atomizer. A little noisy, kind of like weird noise. On skin. Oh yeah, cherry. Oh. Oh yeah. Huge difference. It really on the, what's with me lately? It just seems like the strip's not doing it for me lately. And again, I'm always recommending to put it on skin. It's not nothing new. I just didn't like go, oh, it works on my skin. No. Okay, so much more three-dimensional here on my skin. I am getting the full-on tonka bean, the sweetness, the vanillic tendencies, the almond quality, and the cherry, which, ooh, it's kind of tippy-toeing in the Fève Delicieuse Tonka Imperial territory, which is really nice. That is top of the line. Fève Delicieuse Tonka Imperial and Fève Delicieuse from Dior, by the way. Those are the 1-2 tonka beans. Like for me personally, they really just generate that tonka bean and all its facets. Some fragrance brands don't, they use their tonka and they use certain things. They pluck them here and there, but oh yeah, this is cozy, comforting. Again, when I'm saying it's close to Tonka Imperial Fève Delicieuse, you know, I'm sure you've smelt at least one of those or both. You know what I'm talking about. Comforting, cozy, smooth, sweet, but not too sweet, luxurious. And it's airy too, so it's not too dense, it's not too, and some Tonka-based fragrances can be a little dense, but it's light, it's creamy, it has that nutty aspect from the almond, a little bit of that sweetness. The violet or the tonka beans giving me a little bit of a powdery aspect, so keep that in mind. Tonka Imperial does that too at the same time, so if you like that one, you're gonna like this one. Very gourmand. It has an ambery glow in the back end too. I'm looking forward to what this is going to develop. I'm looking forward to seeing the performance on this one. It excites me. Now, that goes to hey, if I'm going to be inspired by Homme d'Argile and Tonka Imperial, ooh, those are heavy. Like those would be the inspired buys that I would do. Because those are like, man, top 10 favorites of all time. It's in the discussion, those two. And these two are doing it for a fraction of the price. Like I found a fragrance that like Canadian, I'm not talking American. Canadian, this was like 140, 30, 50, something like that. Like under 200, you get 125 mils, right? 125, hey, that's like old Creed bottles. You get an extra 25%. It's like the one brand that didn't get the memo that they have to make their fragrance bottles smaller so they can put less juice in them. Yeah, it's sweet. But it's smooth. It's very smooth. It's very airy, like I said. So it's not as dense or as vivid as a Tonka Imperiale or Fève Delicieuse. Those come out the gate really pushing. And what do I mean by that is, again, this is a first impression. I might be completely wrong. But with my experience with fragrances in the first couple minutes, I can kind of tell where a fragrance is going to be as far as longevity and projection. I kind of gauge that, and you can't teach that. You just, with experience. And this has an airy touch to it. Now, don't get me wrong, not all fragrances that have like this airy touch that are, let's say, denser fragrances, they can last. But I feel like this might be one of those things that, like a watered down version of those two, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Is it unique? No, absolutely not a unique idea. Absolutely not. Am I getting any patchouli in this? I'm definitely not getting any rose. I am getting powderiness, but that could be from the violet or it could be from the tonka bean. I'm getting that ambery glow from the lab that I'm sandalwood. Am I getting some woods? Not yet. Well, vanilla definitely, and again, that's from the tonka. So at the end of the day, I like it. Is it something new in my collection? Is it something exciting? Well, I like this composition, and that's, you know, my taste is my taste. I don't care in that regard. I don't care. So I'm looking forward to seeing if this is going to go in a different direction. I'm looking forward to dissecting it, seeing longevity, projection, and what else it gives me. But right now, very cozy, comforting scents. And again, these kind of scents, and this is kind of like Ambre d'Alexandrie here, is if I'm going to bed and I kind of want to wear the Hermes, but I don't want to waste a spray of the Hermes, I wear this. And it does the exact same thing of that. I really wanted that kind of DNA. I can wear it. And then the special occasions, I go with the Hermes. And it's kind of, seems like this is the line to do that. And I can't wait to get my leather one in there and kind of figure out where is that one inspired by. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But yeah, a good one. Not a unique idea. I like it though. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. What do you think of this line? Have you smelt any of this line actually? Not too many reviewers talk about this line. I feel it's actually one that is worth checking out. Not a bad line at all. As always, a great import fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube.